Hey guys, this is Charlotte, and you're watching Going In Raw.
Hey, Friendo, Steve here.
And Larson.
Yeah, welcome back to Going In Raw, the only pro wrestling podcast you need to be listening to, and the only pro wrestling podcast that has Bob Lashley as their champion, who's already had him as his champion right there on our graphic here on the YouTube at youtube.com/Steven Larson. We're also available wherever podcasts can be found, and of course, taped live at the Twitch. Twitch.tv/Steven Larson. We're currently holding our Bobby Lashley appreciation party after 17 years, Larson. I think he made his debut in like 2005 or something like that.
Something along those lines, yeah. He's been doing it for a long time. To finally see him hoist up that WWE championship is pretty awesome.
It's pretty awesome. That concluded Raw tonight after sort of a through line throughout the episode of Miz trying to dodge Lashley, including evidently faking or not faking explosive diarrhea.
I believe that was false. That was NWO diarrhea.
Oh, okay. All right.
I believe that was a ruse.
So none of that worked. The Miz tapped out to the Hurt Lock in the end, and we have ourselves a new WWE champion. Going into this, man, I know we were sort of uncertain how long, given that WWE loves to drag things out. How long were they going to drag this out? Turns out they didn't drag it out too much longer than.
It turns out 3 hours. They built the whole episode of Raw around it, and that opening segment said, "All right, Miz, you got to defend the title top of the second hour at 9 p.m. Eastern." That's when he faked tummy troubles. Got pushed to 10. That time, Miz has grabbed the title and ran. Got counted out. And then finally, MVP and Lashley protested Shane. Shane's like, all right, we'll have a match. And if Miz doesn't show up, then he has to vacate the title. I'll give it to Bob Lashley if that's the case. And then he had a stipulation right before the match started that was to be a lumberjack match. Raw locker room comes out, and seemingly no one likes the Miz. Face, heel, doesn't matter. Harkens back to his beginnings in WWE where no one liked him, apparently. Apparently that continues more than a decade later. No one likes the Miz. Closer to 15 years later, I guess. Sorry.
And he even made reference to that. I thought that Miz had a really good performance tonight, in pretty much all aspects of it, but especially in that backstage sequence that preceded the final match, where out of like desperate, every once in a while we get Miz doing his talking smack Daniel Bryan routine, where he actually brings a very dramatic sort of approach to what's usually, stuff that's chock full of goofiness. And, he laid into Shane and said, you know what, man, I'm the champion that Raw needs. If you need a reality star, if you need a host, I can do everything. And yeah, I know people would love to have a monster, but I'm what you need. I'm tired of people making fun of me. I'm tired of people laughing at me. I deserve this title. And I thought it was very effective. And I thought Miz did just an absolutely terrific job. I thought when he said that, when he was going there, I was like, oh, they're not going to take this to Fastlane. They're going to do this thing tonight. And I'm glad. I'm glad they didn't make us wait all the way to Fastlane.
Because it's a situation where they constructed the show how they did with the two false matches leading to the third one that actually happened, where it all hinges on what they do with that last match. If they pull something and prolong this even further, then you got a storyline with some momentum, a superstar Lashley with momentum that you need to run with at this point in time.
Yeah.
And not doing that is just, it's bad creative. It's bad for business.
Yeah.
So if they had done that, come to this third match, and I understand what you said about that last Miz promo, or a bit backstage, even after Lashley won, when he put the Hurt Lock back on Miz, I'd be like, oh, are they gonna reverse the finish because he's putting Hurt Lock back on him? It's like, I'm conditioned, fairly or not, by WWE to think that the worst case is going to happen in basically every scenario.
Oh, no.
From a creative standpoint.
Yeah.
Because I've been fooled too many times. It's hard for me to give them the benefit of the doubt until I actually see it happen and it's finished.
Yeah. Yeah, I didn't. Once the, I don't know. WWE will also, they'll telegraph. They'll also telegraph that sometimes when you're going to get a screw job for the fans. with this, when the lumberjacks come out, every once in a while they'll do a thing where it'll just have big moment feel. And this, when Shane came out, when Miz gave a speech to Shane, when the lumberjacks came out, I was like, oh, okay. Even the silly timer that counted down all the moments, I was like, okay, this has big moment feel. They're not going to pull any wonkiness, and sure enough, they didn't. So yeah, I thought that it was wonderfully executed. I mean, the rest of Raw left a little bit to be desired.
Yeah.
I thought the first hour was actually pretty solid, and after that, I really noticed it, and I think you did too. We talked about this before we started the actual podcast here in the pre-show on Twitch. The Damian Priest Elias match.
That is just a head scratcher, man.
It was a snooze fest match, and I
don't get.
I literally just closed my eyes. And then, even 20 minutes before the end of the show, or maybe it was about 20, 25 minutes before the end of the show, when Matt Riddle and Lucha House Party come out, I was like, I don't want any part of this, please, thank you. But the rest of Raw really left a little bit to be desired. But by the end, when Lashley won, I was like, oh man, what a great moment. That's what I'm going to take away from this episode of Raw. But I'm sure we'll have plenty of opportunities as we talk about the episode to run it down, because there was, like I said, quite a lot to be desired from the rest of the episode. It started out with Drew McIntyre on promo. He said, it's been a bitch of a month for old Drew. Sheamus stabbed me in the back. Don't know why, but we're about to go to war. They had mentioned that match was going to basically open the show. He says, 2 weeks ago, at Elimination Chamber, I outlasted 5 former champions. I was beaten and bruised. Boom. Bob Lashley attacks. Miz cashes in. He's champion. He sort of looks at the Mania sign and mumbles some stuff I didn't catch. He said he knows his
40
mission.
days. I think he said 40 days because today was 40 days.
Is that what he said? Okay.
Yeah.
He said, I know what my mission is. Regain the WWE Championship, main event, WrestleMania. He said, I didn't go through the COVID era as champion to get screwed at the finish line. He says, Lashley, Miz, or whoever comes out of this match is going to have the biggest target on your back. As for Sheamus, we're going to beat the crap out of each other.
I came to play.
I came to get price to pay.
That's when the Miz comes out.
Miz interrupts.
And he's like, hey, I want to be properly introduced or officially introduced. So Mike Rome introduces him as the current WWE champion. His pyro goes off, and he says, I couldn't help overhear what you had to say, Drew. I admire that you've handled everything with dignity and class. Everything that happened to you was out of your control. Once Miz got Money in the Bank, it was only a matter of time before he cashed in, became WWE champion. Do you want to take Drew's line here? We can do this.
Yeah, let's see here. So Drew says, he says, oh, okay, well, how about you just step over here and you give me a hug and we'll hug it out.
Miz says no. He wonders why Drew is still upset with him. He just did what he was supposed to do as Money in the Bank briefcase holder. Miz suggests instead that Drew point the finger at Bobby Lashley.
Drew says, I know what you're getting at here. I'm not going to do your dirty work for you. You're on your own.
And then Miz says he didn't ask for help from Lashley. He's the victim of the situation. He said he's a husband and a father. Lashley threatened his well-being, and now because of that, Lashley has a title match. He wonders, why would Lashley get the first title shot, WWE title, not someone more deserving like Drew? And that's when Miz suggested they work together. They could do wonders for each other's career. And then MVP walks out on the stage. He says, is this the beginning of a business relationship or the ramblings of a couple of madmen? Talking about Miz and Morrison. And
he left out the best line when Morrison said, we could be the three amigos.
Yeah.
That was funny.
Asked Drew if he's taking any of this seriously. Drew says he doesn't want or need help to get to the title. MVP says nothing is going to change the fact that Lashley is going to step in that ring with The Miz tonight and become WWE champion. Can't change that, but the reason he came out is to tell him the WWE title match will begin at the top of the second hour, so that's 9 p.m. Eastern, and Lashley is going to destroy The Miz. The Miz appeals to Drew, calls Lashley a menace, wants them, Drew and The Miz, to work together. Sheamus interrupts. Do you want to take Sheamus?
Yeah, I'll take Sheamus. Let's see here. Sheamus says Drew doesn't give a damn about anyone but himself, but after tonight, he's not going to be in any shape to help anyone anyways. And Drew says, oh, let's throw down then. And so they go at it. And this was, my God, this was a 25-minute match.
It was really good.
Physical, as this is probably, honestly, like one of the best Drew McIntyre matches I've ever seen. As far as Sheamus, this guy's been putting on just terrific matches lately, left and right. I mean, he's had some classics with Riddle. Can't think of any else off the top of my head, but I know he's had a bunch of other good ones. Good. This was really, really good, and I loved the finish. At one point, Sheamus does get a bro kick in on Drew, but Drew's on the apron. We come back from commercial. Sheamus is elbowing the crap out of Drew. He's going after his jaw because of what had happened like a couple months ago. On the outside, Drew throws Sheamus onto the edge of the announce table. They almost get counted out. Drew breaks the count, goes back out, suplexes Sheamus onto the table. At one point, Sheamus goes to the top. Drew kips up and freaks out Sheamus. He eats a headbutt Glasgow kiss. Superplex gets Drew too. In the end, though, they both hit their finishers at the same time. But Drew's Claymore, this was perfectly executed, hits Sheamus just before Sheamus's brogue kick can hit Drew. Drew gets the pin for 3. They couldn't make Sheamus look any stronger than they did here in this loss. Yeah. Really terrific match.
It was a really good match. It was a really, really good match. Hell of a way to kick off Raw. And we kick off Raw, like the opening talkie bit was a bit long, but at least it was going somewhere. It developed kind of like the through lines for the show. And then you follow that. There was a while that was Raw's formula. You have a talkie bit to open and have a really good match right after that. Or sometimes they would just forego the talkie bit to have a really good match open the show.
Yeah. And that's why it was so strong. This was like the first hour of the show.
I know. Yeah. After that, we have Naomi. She's walking backstage. She walks, Nia walks in front of her. They have a match next. This match was very short. Nia Jax dominated pretty much all of it. Wins with hits a Samoa drop, talks some crap to Lana ringside, and then hits that chokeslam bomb she's been using of late to get the win. It was pretty short.
Yeah, it was pretty short. After that, Lashley comes out ready for his match. Because they had said, had they mentioned? MVP mentioned during that segment. It's going to happen at 9:00. That they were very specific with the times, and it was so silly because it was obvious. Like when you're so obvious about wanting to pump your ratings up, that you literally say, "Hey, we want to make sure that our second hour is strong." So at 9 p.m. Eastern. We're going to have this match.
A title match.
And then, hey, at 10 p.m. Eastern, you're going to be out there.
That same title
match. It doesn't just say, listen, man, you have 1 hour. No, it has to be at 10 p.m. Eastern. It's silly, but whatever. That's just
it is silly.
WWE does silly things like that.
They do silly stuff.
Anyway, so Lashley comes out. Miz is backstage. And at first I thought he was holding his dick or something, but he was holding his bowels. And he was like super mumbly too. And basically he was talking about like he needs more time. And he was going to shit himself. And Lashley comes backstage and he grabs Miz. He's like, you're going to defend your title at 10 p.m. Eastern. I'm sorry. He comes back and he says, I'm going to kick your ass and take your title. And then Pearce says, dude, if I have to drag you out there at 10 p.m. Eastern myself, you're going to defend your title. And then Morrison starts asking for a towel because Miz is going to shit himself at any moment, Larson.
Yeah, seemingly he's gonna poop. So Braun comes out, drops a promo. He says, for months it's been obvious that Pearce and Shane have something against him. He was suspended for headbutting Adam Pearce, which seems like a sound decision.
That's totally normal. That's totally normal.
It's normal. I mean, that should happen. Said he was left out of the chamber match on a technicality. Chamber match on Raw was for former WWE champions.
Not a technicality.
Never won the WWE championship. So he said he sat at home and watched Chamber, and without him in the chamber match, it sucked. He says, now I have a tag match that I just found out about. Pearce and Shane are probably having a laugh at my expense, but it's really starting to piss him off. So Shane and Adam Pearce walk out. Shane tells Braun he looks a little messed up. You look angry. You look upset. I'm here to help you. In fact, Shane says, I've been helping myself. I've been taking some MBA courses. One I've been taking is all about conflict management. The reading is above your reading level, Braun. And Braun starts to get angry, and Shane's like, "Oh, I'm just joking.
This was hilarious. Shane was so wonderfully condescending here.
He was really condescending.
I loved this. This reminded me. I'm not a huge.
It reminds you why Shane McMahon should be a Hall of Famer.
But when Shane, you know what you should have done? See, this is on you. When you approached me about Shane making the Going in Raw Hall of Fame, you should have brought up Baked Potato Face. I had forgotten about that, and that was a stroke of genius. This version of Shane is so good, and this Braun stuff is amazing because Braun is being booked like a complete moron, and Shane and Pearce, I really wish they would have gone down the route of like a hidden camera of Shane and Pearce making fun of how stupid this guy is, because that would be hilarious, because Shane is acting like it here, and it was awesome.
That may still happen. If the SmackDown hacker were still around, you'd definitely be seeing that at some point.
Yeah.
So Shane continues, the key to conflict resolution is communication. It's all about communication, and that's what this tag match was about. Shane says, Pearce didn't make the tag match. I did. I knew that Braun needed to work out his issues with WWE management by teaming up with WWE management. And Braun says, what, you're going to be my tag partner, Shane? And Shane goes, don't be ridiculous.
He's so dismissive. No, don't be ridiculous.
He says, the person you have the conflict with is Adam Pearce. And Braun just says, well, that sucks.
Yeah.
And then Shane's like, no. You know, he's got an extensive and highly successful career. He really puts Pearce over.
He says, don't be so myopic in your thinking.
Yeah.
you guys can do great things as a unit. I'll sweeten the pot. Tonight you compete for the Raw tag titles.
Braun, and then Braun. That doesn't sound that bad. Yeah.
That sounds like a good idea, but if Pearce screws us up, he'll get these hands. I thought Shane was amazing here.
Yeah,
I thought
really
this is great.
So that match happens next. Adam Pearce still in his business casual clothes. So as you know, fairly predictably, Braun just dominates Cedric and Shelton.
Yeah,
which is a bummer, but
yeah,
considering how they book Braun, somewhat predictable. And he hits a power slam on Shelton. And Shane gets up on the apron and tells Braun to tag in Adam Pearce.
Mm-hmm.
And
he's like feverish about it too. He's like, no, tag him. We're working together.
Yeah.
And Braun just stands there.
Yeah.
So finally he does.
But Shane was saying the match will be over, and Braun says the match is over.
Yeah.
So he eventually does. Pearce gets in the ring to cover Shelton. Shelton rolls him up. Win for the Hurt Business.
It's like the slowest roll up too.
It was pretty slow.
So Braun gets pissed off at Shane, but he directs it at Shane, not at Pearce like he said he would, because he said that he says, you're just the puppet master. He's the puppet. This is your fault. You're going to get hands. Oh, it was great. I'm so rooting for Shane in this WrestleMania match. I really am. I don't even know. This doesn't, by the way, this Mania, because this is totally going to happen. This Mania match doesn't help anybody. It doesn't do anything for anybody, because Braun's point, you made this point. Braun's point, I got suspended for headbutting Adam Pearce. Yes, of course he's not going to like you. You should have been suspended. It makes sense. Like, why are you upset about this? Braun has no good points to make here, and a match against Shane McMahon, if Shane wins, Braun looks horrible. He's not going to. If Braun wins, does Braun really look all that great for beating Shane McMahon? No, he doesn't.
No, it benefits nobody.
Which
benefits nobody. It only. I mean, as you mentioned, if Braun loses, then
he's done. Buried. He's
done as a main eventer. Done.
But clearly, they still see monster potential in him because he's like throwing people around. When did he make his debut? 2014, 2015?
Something like that. Yeah.
They went 17 years for him if he has his Lashley moment. What year will that be?
It'd be 2031 if he debuted in 2014.
Yeah.
But if this is their idea for Braun's character, they need to have him talk way less.
It's they needed to have him, dude. Why? Just back to 2017. This is the most neutered version of Braun. This is terrible. It's so.
I don't know. When he had that heel turn to have that match against Brock, that was pretty lousy too.
Yeah, that was pretty bad. I don't know, man. I think if we were to take all the Brauns and power ranked them.
Because here's the thing about that Braun, because before he turned heel, he was actually really over. He had the Money in the Bank briefcase.
Over. Yeah.
He was super over.
Yeah.
Super over.
Yeah.
Like there's potential, I don't know if there was backstage issues that prevented them from putting the title on him, but in terms of fan reaction to him,
oh yeah. Yeah.
They could have done it. It would have been totally believable. And people would have been into it.
All right, before we continue, here's a word from the sponsor of today's show, Raycon. Hey, Larson.
Yeah.
Doesn't it seem like we're both constantly staring at screens, whether it's getting work done at our computers or keeping up with the latest goings-on our phones? Unplugging from the world is nearly impossible.
That's true, Steve, but I'll tell you, when I'm looking to rest these eyes of mine but still get that content that I need, I put in my Raycon wireless earbuds and catch up on some podcasts, listen to an audiobook, or blast the freshest jams to help fuel my workout.
Yeah, I wear my Raycons when I'm out running, getting my wind sprints on, and I can tell you, man, these Raycons are built to perform anywhere and anytime. With water and sweat-resistant construction, they feature seamless Bluetooth pairing and offer up enough battery life for 6 hours of playtime.
And Raycon makes awesome audio accessible to everyone with wireless earbuds starting at half the price of other premium audio brands, and they come in a wide range of colorways and always have a comfortable in-ear fit for a more discreet look.
And right now, Raycon's offering 15% off all their products to Going In Raw listeners, and here's what you gotta do to get it. Go to buyraycon.com/raw. That's it. You'll get 15% off your entire Raycon order, so feel free to grab a pair and a spare.
That's 15% off at buyraycon.com/raw, buyraycon.com/raw.
So backstage is when the black hole of Raw starts to open up, Larson, and suck you in, because we have Elias pitching him and Jackson Ranker to run into Bad Bunny and Damian Priest in the backstage area. Elias pitches to Bad Bunny on a business opportunity. Elias sort of puts himself over against Bad Bunny in the music industry, says, hey, we should drop a single together, turn the music industry on its head. It'd be like the first time people ever heard the Beatles, you know, that particular single. Bad Bunny says something to Priest in Spanish, and it turns out, that's a no, Elias. Bad Bunny wants no piece of you. After that, we've got Elias in a promo, sort of whining about being shot down by like the Grammys and Bad Bunny. Then we have a match, Damian Priest versus Elias. I swear to God, this thing seemed like it was 40 minutes long. It was so boring.
Who was the one that told Damian Priest to do a bunch of armbar? Because that's what he did for 45% of this match, it felt like.
Dude, I'm so confused with what they're having him do as a wrestler, as a character in the ring. Last week, I was like, okay, like to your point, I like Angel Garza. I didn't think for a second a guy like Damian Priest, who's fresh, should have gotten the win the way he did.
No, I
Garza
understand
was
that point.
oddly strong against him.
I was trying to find some upside to it. Yeah.
Okay, absolutely. We both like Garza. Totally. Elias, I don't mind Elias. It's just Elias can actually be a pretty fun wrestler. Like he had a good match against like Jeff Hardy. That was fun stuff.
Yeah.
I don't know why they would have Damian Priest all of a sudden become the most
Did they
boring.
find out they were having a match like 2 minutes before they went out there or something?
Did they have something else in their mind?
I don't know.
What was this a challenge? It was like a TikTok challenge? Find out who can have the most boring match? Like this was bizarre.
It was. Damian Priest, we know, is a really dynamic wrestler.
Yeah, he's a lot of fun.
He's fun to watch. He could tell a good story. And
he's adaptable to everybody else.
Yes. And as you mentioned, we've seen Elias put on good matches. I just don't get it. I don't get it.
Mm-hmm.
This was really, really bizarre.
Yeah.
Really bizarre. Maybe they just want them to fill time. I don't know.
Yeah, I have no idea.
I don't know. Because that's what it seemed like. There were so many rest holds, for lack of a better term, that it just seemed like I don't know. I don't get it. I mean, Priest got the win.
Yeah.
Hit the lights to get the W. But, you know, if you want to establish Damian Priest as a force, then he should be running through guys like Elias.
And Angel Garza, for that matter.
Yeah, probably the way Angel Garza's been booked. Yeah.
Yeah. It's weird. It's like, what is he going to next week? Going to have I don't know.
He's going to have a 40-minute slow burn match against Humberto Carrillo. They'll have him in there with Humberto Carrillo and just have him do headlocks for 40 minutes.
Well, no, I mean, it's like, you go
out there and wrestle a match like it's the 1930s.
Or like Drew Gulak. It's like that in NXT, that could be a really fun match. Damian Priest versus Drew Gulak. Mm-hmm. But I feel like if they do it on Raw, it's just going to be like, okay, let's just lay on the mat for a while. It's weird how they've been booking Damian Priest in the ring. It's really weird because it's so
well. They got it right to begin with. Just the last 2 weeks, it seemed a bit off.
What did he do before? What did he do
I don't
before?
know, he's
on main
he's
roster?
perfect. Like I think his other matches were probably lasted no more than 5 minutes. Like he's been pretty dominant. Apart from these last 2 weeks.
After the Rumble, what was his first match on Raw? Because now I don't remember. Anyways, you look that up. After that, we had, although I really want to get your take on this because I thought it was actually kind of cool, to be honest with you.
All right.
We had a Randy Orton interview, which we all know devolves into recapception. And it was no different this time.
No.
Kayla's interviewing him, and he says, I don't know what happened last week, but I do know Alexa had a part to play. So, of course, that's the cue for a recap. This recap's a little bit different, though, because it's more of like a fancy edited together recap. Go ahead.
Okay, hold on 1 second. So Priest's first match after Raw was after the Rumble was against The Miz. That was relatively quick.
Okay.
Or decisive, at least.
Okay.
And then the next week on Raw, he had a match against Angel Garza that he won pretty quickly. So Angel Garza did some scouting, and 2 weeks later, he has another match against Angel Garza.
I was gone that week then.
Yep.
The Garza match I was gone for. So all I have in my head is Miz, Garza, and this one.
Elias.
Okay.
But now that he faced Garza 2 matches in a row, it makes a bit more sense that maybe the second match would take longer.
Yeah, that makes some sense. That does make some sense. Anyways, so Randy Orton watches a monitor of this recap, and the recap is like an edited together recap, and there's like graphics and stuff happening, so it's not like a straight up recap. And then it starts to devolve into like a little thing with Alexa. She shows up on the TV, and she says, Randy, there's something you should know, and she starts saying, bring it back. And then like a hooded figure in the shadows shows up, and he gets closer, and then he takes off his hood, and it's Randy Orton.
It's witness protection, Randy Orton, because he got his voice.
His voice is like this. It was kind of like what your mic was doing earlier.
Oh, that's weird.
Yeah, you were in the witness protection all of a sudden. Anyways, so he says, Randy, this doesn't end on your terms. Soon you will come face to face with everything that you've ever done, Larson.
It's Firefly Funhouse, man.
Firefly Funhouse match.
Firefly Funhouse.
And then real Orton starts coughing up crude oil again.
But we don't get to see it this time, though.
Yeah, he just sort of goes off screen as the screen demon clone RKO witness protection. Randy Orton laughs at him and then snarls at the end.
Deep.
Thought it was kind of cool, to be honest with you, because like how fucked up would that be if like you're watching TV and it's like a recap of like Steve's stuff, and then Steve shows up, or if you're doing it's Larson, and it's like, oh,
I'd be like, oh man, someone did some cool. Someone's pretty handy with After Effects.
Holy crap, the deep fakes in this company are amazing.
Pretty
it's like
damn
the Tom
impressive.
Cruise one.
It's like, who's really good with was it the Face app?
Yeah, exactly. Who's face tuning me, man?
So after that, we got Miz versus Bob Lashley. Oh, Reface. That's the app. That's the app that we use for the deepfakes. Miz versus Bob Lashley. Before the match begins, Miz calls for the mic. He stops Mike Rome from announcing the match is about to happen. He says, hey, we're all professionals here. MVP is like, hey, there's nothing to talk about. Miz says, hey, let's talk business. You're a businessman. Says this is a stage. This isn't the stage that Bob Lashley wants to win the title on. Competitor of Lashley's caliber should have this match on the grandest stage of them all. Lashley versus The Miz, main event, WrestleMania. What do you say? And MVP says, no, we're doing this right now. Bell rings. Miz rolls out of the ring, sprints over the timekeeper area, grabs his belt, and probably has run the fastest he has ever run in his life up the ramp and backstage, getting counted out.
Yeah. So backstage, Lashley and MVP are pleading their case to Shane McMahon. And Shane says, I know. And MVP, unbleeped, Larson Uncensored, says, this is bullshit, Shane. And Shane says, listen, tonight I'm going to consider stripping Miz of the title if he doesn't have that match legitimately tonight. And I'll give it to Lashley because there needs to be a match. And MVP says,
yeah, then I think Lashley said he was going to beat the piss out of The Miz.
Yeah. That was
in the same segment.
All
right, after that, we had what? Go ahead. You have more to add to that?
I was going to move on. Go ahead.
He had the Charlotte promo. So she says the last few weeks have been.
You proceeded by scratching.
I'm just trying to make heads or tails of this. Charlotte has a promo. She says the last few weeks have been an emotional roller coaster. She says, I didn't want to be in the title picture. I just wanted to be a good tag team partner for Asuka because Asuka has busted her ass to be an amazing champ the last 5-6 months. She wanted to be the tag partner of someone awesome, somewhere along the way, she got tangled up in this thing with her dad and Lacey Evans. But then she's like, I woke up this morning and realized I don't have a title when at WrestleMania, because she says,
yeah.
But now we're 6 weeks away from WrestleMania, and here I am, and who is Asuka's challenger? Yeah. Who's going to face Asuka for Raw Women's Championship? I do.
She's like, who am I kidding? Of course I want the Raw Women's title. I'm on Raw. There's a title. I should have it.
I feel like we missed about 2 or 3 weeks of story beats here. That's what it kind of felt like.
Yeah.
Anyways, she's like, well, Asuka's home injured. I can't challenge her now face to face. And then she throws the video of Shayna accidentally kicking out Asuka's tooth. Come back to her. She says, I know Asuka better than anyone, and she's going to come back stronger than ever. And when she does come back, I'm going to challenge her. She's interrupted by Shayna and Nia. And I like this. Shayna goes, oh, what's all this talk of you focusing on yourself? What else is new?
Yeah.
That was great.
Yeah, that was pretty good.
And they talk a bunch of trash about her.
Yeah, says, you like to call yourself the queen, but you're fighting an uphill battle. You're an army of one. I'm the reason the Raw Women's Champion has no teeth right now. We are the dominant force in WWE's women's division, and this is not the road to Mania that you're accustomed to. She says, you could benefit from some help, but the entire locker room wishes you sent yourself home. No one likes you. I think this is Nia at this point. She says the power in this division has shifted, and you need to get it in your head that it's going to be Shayna, or more likely me, Nia Jax, that challenges Asuka. I always love those little digs, and Shayna's reaction is always so great. She says, you have a pretty smile. Are you sure you want this match? Punky Brewster might not ask you back for any more appearances when Shayna's done with you. And then Shayna gets in the ring, steps to Charlotte. Charlotte throws forearms. Nia attacks. I swear to God, I thought we were going to get Rhea Ripley, but that's probably not going to happen until after WrestleMania. And then we come back
once Charlotte gets that Raw Women's title back.
Yeah, exactly. We got Charlotte versus Shayna Baszler. Charlotte works Shayna's knees. This was not a very long match.
You don't think, given the accolades that Charlotte and Shayna Baszler have amassed during their respective careers, you build to this match more than like a week and a half?
Yeah, dude, I know. But they're doing the thing with Shayna and Nia. Like, I know. There's Shayna's dominant against everybody else, except you're not going to be that way with Charlotte. You know, and that's how they're booking it. It's not like big matches. It's these two, Shayna and Nia, running roughshod over everybody, except for once in a while they'll run into somebody like Charlotte, and they just don't. But I agree with you. I think this is a WrestleMania main event, to be honest with you. I think that they're both, they should be huge names. But Charlotte is. So anyways, Charlotte tries for the figure four. Shayna boots her out of the ring. Nia attacks, but Charlotte just sort of sidesteps her, sends her into the steps. Shayna tries for the clutch. Charlotte's able to get out of that, counter with natural selection for 3. Not a very long match.
Yeah, it was pretty short.
Yeah.
It was very short. After that, we go backstage. Shane orders Adam Pearce to go tell Lashley that if the Miz doesn't show up for the main event, he'll be stripped the title, and the title will be presented to Bob Lashley. Adam Pearce said, okay. Off he goes.
Mm-hmm. After that, Riddle and the Lucha House Party had a match against Retribution. Pretty quick pin for Lucha House Party and Riddle. I think Grand Metalik pinned Slapjack.
Yes.
It started out cool. Out cool.
No,
that
was
was
Metalik.
cool.
It was Metalik.
Yeah, he got the pin on Slapjack. That's what I said.
Yeah, that elbow off Lindsay's shoulders is pretty great.
No, that was cool. Also, just the way it started with Riddle running into Dijak doing the choke slam onto his knee. That was rad.
That was great. That was great. So Mustafa Ali gets in the ring, starts yelling at everybody. Says, I'm going to show you how to do it. Tells Matt Riddle not to leave. I want a match against you. I'm going to show the rest of you in Retribution how it's done. And he does get the win over Matt Riddle. However, it's due to massive amounts of interference and distraction from
this was Suzuki-gun-esque. This was every single member of Retribution had a role to play in this massive distraction here.
Yeah. It was a fun match. I love the bits where someone hits a move, goes back to the well later, and it gets reversed. Like that happened here where Ali hits a neck breaker early on, tries to do it again. Riddle catches him with the choke. But then, eventually, so Riddle hits a Pele kick, goes on a run. Broton, penalty kick, gets a 2, hits a final flash. He's about to go up top, and then Slapjack hits on the apron to distract him. Reckoning gets in the ring, distracting the ref, and then Mace kind of gets on the apron and gets right in Matt Riddle's face. And then Ali hits what was supposed to be like the super backstabber he's done a couple times. Either the timing was off or something. Didn't hit it, perfectly.
Yeah.
And he got the win, though. And then afterwards, he starts lecturing all the members of Retribution. Time for you to follow my lead. Maybe that you'll all end up being something after all. And you look, they do this great close-up of Mace, I believe. He just kind of does this.
Yeah.
It's like, really? You're talking to us that way when we helped you win this match?
We literally just won it for you. Yeah, exactly.
I
know. I'm curious if they actually have something in mind here. Probably not.
Well, they do, but it's it's
subject to change.
Subject to change is not something they've had in mind for probably much longer than, I don't know, a month.
So after that, Miz arrives backstage to see Shane, and he finally shows up with his title, runs in. Maybe he was just on the pod. I don't know. Tries to basically defend his actions, saying, I did what any champion would do. I defended my title to the best of my ability. I tried to hold on to it as best I could. And Shane's like, you just ran out of there. And he said, and Miz is like, okay, so you're going to make me defend tonight. What is it going to be? Like no DQ? What are you going to do? And Shane's like, I don't know, but I'm going to make sure that you defend this in a legitimate fashion. And Miz has a great response to this. And I mentioned this at the head of the show, saying that Raw needs a champion like him. He says, sure, people want a big monster, but I can do everything. I'm a reality show star. I can host. I can wrestle. I can do everything. And he just sort of breaks down and says, I'm tired of being made fun of. What kind of champion? He said, I'm tired of being made fun of. I deserve this title. And he says, what kind of champion do you think Lashley's going to be? Shane is very cool. He says, I don't know, Miz, but we're about to find out, champ. And then we had Miz versus Lashley. Shane comes out and says, hey, Miz, here's the deal. Trying to figure out what kind of match you can't run away from. It's a lumberjack match. So everybody except for like Drew and Sheamus come out, and they surround the ring. So we got a lumberjack match.
You know what? I was kind of worried when Braun was amongst the lumberjacks. I was like, oh gosh, they're gonna toss somebody at Braun. Braun's gonna get involved. So on and so forth.
You know what though? That's actually a story beat that would have made sense. You have Braun out there. He's gonna follow Shane. Like Shane says, hey Braun, we need lumberjacks. Okay, sure. He just wanted to rip his head off like a half hour ago.
Yeah.
That's, I mean, that would be.
It would make sense, but then
if this was AEW, that probably would have happened. If my point is, if a character is out there who has motivation from earlier in the show to
not
act,
be out there,
act in a way, or to not even be out there, that makes total sense.
Yeah, totally. But when I saw him out there, I was like, oh, he's going to get involved. He's going to do something.
But maybe you could say, and I hate filling in the gaps for them, because if Shane and Braun have a thing, one shot of Shane saying, hey, Braun, I need your help. And he's like, well, I hate you, though. And he's like, yeah, but it's to screw over the Miz. Oh, okay.
I can get aboard with that.
Exactly. So anyways, so Miz, of course, starts out basically just trying to run from, or he starts out trying to hit Lashley. As soon as the bell rings, he grabs the title from the ref, tries to hit Lashley in the head with it to get a DQ. That doesn't work. Lashley's able to grab it from him, gives it to the ref. So then he runs out. Gulak throws him back in. Lashley takes it to him for a little bit, throws him out. He appeals to Ali, tries to say, Ali, please, I'll join Retribution.
Well, I think he said you and me at WrestleMania. He was like promising WrestleMania matches.
Oh, okay. That's actually pretty great. So Hurt Business sees this. They stomp on over, take him, bring him back in. Lashley gives him a flatliner, a little bit of ground and pound. Miz tries to punch Lashley's stomach. He just completely no-sell that. It's just pure. Miz is great here. It's just pure desperation, and nothing works. He throws him out to Retribution. Retribution throws him back in. Did I miss any bits here, or are we at the end here?
No, they put him in the ring. Lashley hits spine buster, hurt lock. Miz taps. Lashley wins. So Lashley celebrates a bit. I like that he allowed himself one really genuine moment. Seemed like
he did
before he had to go, do the beats of I have to put Miz back in the hurt lock, so on and so forth, because he gets the title, and you see the look on his face when he wins, and then the title, and he kind of just bends over a little bit, gives himself a moment, because I'm sure that's a lot of hard work to get to that point for Bob Lashley, and getting to the top of the industry means a ton for someone who's been putting in a ton of work. He's been doing great work for a really long time.
He kisses it. He kisses the title. He looks at it and he kisses it, and then it's sort of back to being a monster. Yeah. Great.
And so he celebrates for a bit. MVP's like, put him back in the Hurt Lock. So he does it. Yeah. Puts him back in the Hurt Lock for a while, toss him aside, and he's starting to celebrate some more. And then the MVP's like, hey, go over there and like stand on Miz. And so he goes and stands on Miz.
It's an example to everybody. It's hey, this is a statement right here. Yep. This is what's going to happen. Like relentless. MVP was great here. Everybody was great here. I thought this was really, really well done. All right, man, let's answer some questions. I've got a thread here on the Patreon at patreon.com/Steve and Larson. You can get access to Friendo Club TV right there for $5 a month.
Yep. Stazari with the sub says Lashley for the win. This is a great question here from Bath and Body Works. I want Sid to show up and teach Braun how to be a monster. Can you imagine Braun with Sid as a manager? They would just talk softball all the time. That's all they would do.
It would be a lot of softball and like a lot of misspeaking as well. It'd be great. I love that idea. Yes. I think it's terrific.
That is a good idea. It is a solid idea.
Johnny Ralston, do you think they pulled the trigger too late with Miz becoming champion? If it means Bob Lashley loses at WrestleMania, if that's the question, if your question is, should this have happened a lot earlier to give Lashley a longer run, then yeah, 100%.
Sir Wedgie with the sub. They call me Keller with some bits. Thank you very much.
Oh, this is a great question. Blake Whitehouse says, power rank the top 5 words or phrases you'd like to hear uncensored on WWE programming and who should say them. Well, who should say fuck, Larson?
Vince.
Oh, yeah. Whoa. That's good. Comes out, there's fans. This is fucking great. Wow, Vince.
Wow. You're excited, I can tell. Glazin Ann's, sorry if I messed up your name. Give me Bo Dallas versus Andrade catering chaos match.
Wait, what?
A Bo Dallas versus Andrade in a catering chaos match.
Oh, so they're going at it. Food's everywhere.
Yeah, it's like a food fight kind of.
And then all of a sudden, out of nowhere, no one's truly evil. And it's Aleister Black. He shows up. But
Black masses, everyone gets that final piece of prime rib.
Exactly. And then I'll finish it off with some ice cream, a delicacy. Are you okay, Aleister?
I've been in that room for far too long, John.
Let's see here. David Matushak. If Lashley didn't get the chance to win the WWE title earlier tonight, do you think that trying to save it for fast... I think he probably wrote this before the end of the show. You got to wait till the stuff plays out before he asks questions. He says, do you think that trying to save it for Fastlane may be a poor choice? You're anticipating, David. It
would have been a poor choice, yes.
It's all right. It definitely would have been a poor choice, absolutely.
It would have been a poor choice. Broken Wheelchair, is Ripley ever debuting on Raw? They ran another promo for her tonight, so at some juncture, you would think so. They keep running promos.
Did they run a Rhea Ripley promo?
They did tonight. I just said that, yeah.
They did? Okay. All right.
Yeah.
Sorry. Yeah. Half paid attention. I thought that's what you were talking about, but...
Jorge D, to not suffer the same fate as The Miz, what would you never eat before a championship match? Me, it would be eggs.
I wouldn't eat anything.
Or any sort of dairy product.
I wouldn't want to risk it. I wouldn't eat anything.
Something that's like bread.
Nothing like really gets me... anything too heavy, of course. Like, I'm not going to eat a Jumbo Jack or something like that. I don't want to eat that.
Yeah, fast food's a bad idea. Something bland, like some crackers, chips, bread. Yeah. Something that's a long shot will give you food poisoning.
But yeah, generally, I wouldn't eat anything. Like when we used to do rec league basketball, I wouldn't eat beforehand.
Usually if I eat, I want to make sure it's like an hour before I do anything.
Yeah.
And the tough ones were like when we used to play baseball, we'd have early morning games at like 8 in the morning. And so it's tough to get your morning routine in, get your breakfast. You know, you got to have your morning movement, you know,
You take a crap, do what Miz did.
You got to poop, and then if that doesn't happen,
yeah,
before you got to go for your game, because sometimes we play, it was like 45 minutes away. And if the timing wasn't right, that was an issue.
Yeah,
then I was like Miz out there.
Yeah.
Dan
Barber.
Sorry, go ahead.
Dan Barber, seeing Miz fumbling with his belt brought up a recent pet peeve of mine. Why don't people wear the belt around their waist anymore? Yeah, when he was on the promo at the beginning, he was all over the place. See the Velcro strap. He had it all inside out. It was weird. He said, why don't people wear their belt around their waist anymore? Everybody has their way of doing it.
I wonder if it kind of seems more like Drew would wear it around his waist.
He did, yeah.
I wonder if it kind of feels kind of like almost like I want to say a toy because of the Velcro.
Mm-hmm. Oh, maybe.
Like there's something about snapping that belt on around your waist that makes it feel weightier.
I wonder if even that is the kind of thing that's micromanaged in WWE, or at least like hey, you're gonna go out there, you're gonna carry it over your shoulder because you're a bad guy or something like that. That wouldn't shock me.
Miz, you're gonna fumble with the title because you're nervous about losing it.
I mean, it's a good bit of business for him. Yeah. I mean that that fumbly bits that him fumbling with it. That's actually a really good point, to be honest with you, because he's just nervous the whole time, but he can't hold on to it. That's the theme of the entire episode.
Mm-hmm. Lucifer, 1996. Which wrestler, excluding Cesaro, do you think would make the best cup of coffee? I kept meaning to buy some of Cesaro's coffee.
Cesaro has coffee?
Yeah.
Where can you get it from?
There's a website. I can't remember where it was. I thought about it for a while. Just never did it.
That's cool.
I don't know who else is. Oh, John Cena probably, because when Total Bellas, he always had a cup of coffee in his hand. Like every time he would roll into a shot, he had a cup of coffee, unless it was dinner or after. But anytime during the day, he seemingly always had a cup of coffee on him.
Alex Foster, what other instances could you guys see Shane being way too tranquilo about?
What other what?
Instances. So like Shane was being really tranquilo with a big dullard monster. So I see him being as way too tranquilo about other annoying people, perhaps. We mentioned this in our NXT episode a couple weeks ago, standing in line at the grocery store. Somebody's taking way too long, fumbling for their checkbook, or
he's just there perusing the tabloids there at the check stand.
Yeah. Is this going to take much longer? Because I'm trying to exercise my patience. I know that's not something you're considering, but can I please just cut ahead of you, because we all know that you're going to be...
Because I only have 3 items.
I only have 3 items. Oh, man. I did the thing the other day where I had like a bunch of stuff, and this dude rolls up behind me with like 3 things. I'm like, hey, you can go ahead. And he was like, no, I'm good. And I was like thinking to myself, you just don't want to go home.
A lot of times unless I'm in a rush and someone does that to me, it's like, no, it's fine. Because I'm not in a rush, I don't care.
I usually do that too. I'm like, no, I'm cool. Because I'd rather be at Winco looking at my phone than being at my house. I'm joking. I love being here. But yeah, no, I'm always really, I don't, like, what the hell? I ain't got nothing to do.
Yeah, exactly. The Enforcer says the Enforcer is back in his liberal elitist home.
No,
Happy to hear you arrived home safely, Enforcer.
Is he going to be too tuck-a-tucks for Impact tomorrow? Find out.
Let's find out. This is a great question. Gareth Nicholas, is it the perfect time to split up The Miz and Morrison? Yes. Miz's world should completely fall apart at this juncture.
Agreed. Absolutely.
White Brownie, with Shayna losing to Charlotte tonight, does that mean Nia and Shayna will retain on NXT, or are we looking at a new tag champions? They're going to win, and that's going to lead to Dakota and Raquel breaking up, I think.
I think you're totally right about that, because that makes absolute sense.
Dakota will eat that pin.
I just hope they don't make Dakota look too bad.
Yeah, I know.
But yeah, I think you're right about that. I don't think there are any plans for anybody to win those tag titles from, at least not yet. There are no tag teams that I see being like, oh yeah, they could totally beat Nia and Shayna.
I mean, Naomi and Lana have a title shot.
Mm-hmm. That ain't happening.
And I mean, since Lana won that tables match against Nia, it seems like she got her W.
Mm-hmm.
They're just like pushing that. So who knows when that's going to happen?
This is a great question. Cameron Bortolazzo. Who do you think will be another subpar wrestler to bring Damian Priest to the limits next week? My guess is Mojo.
Wow.
He says, who's another subpar wrestler to bring Damian Priest to? That's his gimmick, you know. Anybody could take me to the limit, but I always win. Every match guaranteed to be a nail biter.
There we go.
I don't know why I'm doing Braun right now.
I don't know either. Night by Night, you've recently opened a world-class bakery. Everything is made from scratch with top-quality ingredients and then baked in a wood-fired brick oven. Not one to compromise on taste or quality. What Raw superstar do you hire to assist you in sourcing the freshest and best ingredients for your breads? This is a Raw superstar, so you can't say Daniel Bryan.
That's the first guy that comes to your mind?
Yeah. He's all about clean, healthy eating.
Wait, what? You're hiring a wrestler to do what?
To help you source the freshest and best ingredients for your baked goods.
Oh, okay. All right. Well, I mean, having your own coffee isn't that far away from Raw superstar. Damn.
Yeah, Raw superstar.
I'm
going to say this. I'm going to say Damian Priest, because maybe when I offered him that donut he saw was Dunkin' Donuts, is like, not the best ingredients.
Not outside the realm of possibility. That's a good answer. I'm gonna say, damn it, I had one, and then you said Damian Priest.
Sorry.
Sheamus, because he's already very doughy.
Oh wow.
He's not.
Wow.
He's
he's jacked. He's pretty muscular.
Very jacked. He's hard. Yeah, he just looks doughy. He does. Like, he has doughy looking skin. but he's jacked.
Anyways,
jacked
next
dude.
question.
He looks like dough. All right, let's see here. James Rodriguez. It was hard to root against Lashley tonight. So do you think we'll see a double turn at some point between now and Mania where Drew turns heel and Lashley turns face?
No.
I think they're different enough.
And I think if they want face Lashley to have a match against somebody at Mania, they might just open up the checkbook and bring Brock in.
Yeah.
Ryan Rubik's Cube. What is worse for Braun, facing Shane at Mania or having another celebrity Mania match like you did with the Saturday Night Live guys?
That's worse. Braun versus Shane, I'm actually kind of looking forward to at this point.
Well, I'll say the program against Shane at Mania, it would be worse if Shane won.
No, it wouldn't. No way. I'm actively rooting for Shane. I want him to win so bad. I think it'd be amazing.
No, I'm saying for Braun, losing to Shane at Mania.
Oh, for Braun? Yeah. Oh, yeah.
That's what I'm saying. That's the question. What's worse for
fans?
Braun? Yeah. What's worse for Braun? Losing to Shane is worse.
Yeah.
Than
1,000%.
the winning end of any sort of celebrity thing.
Yeah. That's awful. Yeah. Sorry, I was reading this other question. War Machine MJ. Who are you supposed to root for in this Orton Bliss program? The arsonist or the dark magic user? We're supposed to root for Randy.
Are we?
Aren't we?
I mean, he murdered somebody.
Yeah,
he's
but
a murderer.
He's being tormented now because
he murdered somebody. If he hadn't murdered somebody, he would have been tormented.
Alexa Bliss is a Satanist.
It's complex, man. That's all I got to say.
I'm legitimately curious about this. I feel like he's vomiting crude oil. Don't you root for that guy? Isn't he the underdog? He's the underdog. You root for the underdog. He's the underdog at this point.
I don't know, but he murdered somebody too. I don't know.
Yeah, this is a good point. Jorge says he murdered a demon, though.
Yeah.
Hip Hop Hippo says, don't bury Satan. What did Satan do? I'm not anti-Satan. I'm saying a lot of people are. And Satan generally is the bad guy.
Yeah. Generally, if you bring Satan to a situation, you're saying this is the bad guy in this situation. Yes.
That's what I'm saying. That. So the guy fighting Satan is probably supposed to be the good guy in the situation.
I guess.
Like when he tried to burn that guy, he was trying to burn like Hellspawn.
Well, he didn't just try to burn Bray. He did. alive.
He did. Yeah. Intern, we need this for best of. Is Intern even here?
I don't know.
I'm going to write that one down. That's going to do it for us today. I'm getting myself in trouble here talking about Satan and stuff. Anyways, thanks everybody for... Oh, he's there. Okay. Intern, whatever this is.
There's like an hour, 20-some minutes in here.
Something like that. Anyways, thanks everybody for tuning in. The end of Raw, March 1st, 2021. It's going to go in the best of March. Thanks everybody for tuning in. We appreciate it. Till next time, we'll talk to you later.
Goodbye.
Help support Going In Raw today by becoming a Friendo Club TV member. You'll get access to new bonus episodes every week, including Friendo Club Arcade, Live Power Rank, Vintage 10 for the Wins, and Ask Steven Larson. Get access to Friendo Club TV today by becoming a $5 and up patron at patreon.com/Steven Larson, by throwing us a sub at twitch.tv/Steven Larson, or by clicking join at youtube.com/Steven Larson.